So this one it is a really interesting one because its usage and requirement of it has greatly increased, I'd say, in the last 3 years. It's Employment Practices Liability Insurance. Everybody refers to it as EPLI. And it's the coverage that really is there for your interactions with your employees predominantly. And it covers a lot of things, particularly discrimination, hiring practices, promotional practices, wage and hour, anything to do with employees. I really want to focus on the discrimination claim aspect of it because we see these pop up multiple different ways in a lot of different scenarios. The thing with EPLI, and there's some interesting statistics out there from the carriers, that if you're in business for 10 years, 3 out of every 5 employers is going to get some type of EPLI claim. A lot of them could be fraudulent or just misunderstandings that get elevated. And more, I think virtually every franchisor requires it now to have EPLI in place. But the issue we see, and the bigger way to prevent this is, again, like we've talked a little bit about today, people are overworked, they're busy, they're looking for caregivers, they're doing all kinds of creative hiring, interviewing practices. But you really want to be careful with how you proceed with those. And our rule of thumb is you want to interview, hire, train, promote everybody exactly the same way. And you want to document it. You know, if you're smaller or you're a startup, maybe you yourself as an owner, you're doing it, you're checking every box, you're being careful, you're documenting it properly. But as you grow, you might hire a scheduler or someone, or a recruiter, and you want to make sure that person knows and understands this as well. And I always say, you know, as you're going through the process, a good check for yourself, you know, once a year is review your policies and your procedures and try to look at it from the caregiver's point of view. Everyone's fighting for caregivers. Everyone's trying to get them in. You're trying to hire them and push them through as quickly as possible. We've had some claims come up from extraneous promises made during the hiring practice that if it doesn't come through fruition, that employee might look at that as they were discriminated against. You told me I was going to get X pay or X number of hours or this type of working condition, and you didn't deliver on it. And then they go get an attorney. The attorney's going to look at your policies, your procedures, going to talk to past employees, current employees. If there's any differences or discrepancies, they're probably going to proceed and go forward with it. So that's our big concern. I don't think there's any owner out there purposely discriminating against. But again, it's taking that moment, looking at it through the caregiver's eyes. Another thing I always tell, especially in this environment now, even if it's just a corrective action meeting or phone call or talking to an employee, I really discourage one-on-one nowadays. You know, you really want to have a second person there. I've had so many where I'm talking to the owner and she's like, oh, I'm just going to talk to her and say, you know, work on this. Person got upset and quit on the spot. You know, now they go off. How upset are they really? Are you going to conduct an exit interview? Or if they get an attorney and it comes back on your EPLI, it's going to be, you know, what did the owner say? What do the employees say? Great to have some documentation there. And oftentimes those will be construed as a discrimination case. Well, you only singled me out to do this. And again, if you have that second person, no, we're going through with several of our employees and doing a review process, documenting, having that secondary person there to help prevent it. Also on the EPLI, there's a large misunderstanding, I think, with, you know, how it's really there. Everyone tends to look at it, well, how much coverage do I get? Is it a $500,000 limit or is it $1 million limit? Doing this for a long time and dealing with hundreds of agencies, what the real value is, you're having the access to the carrier's legal team. And a lot of the larger, better carriers have a whole team of attorneys that this is all they do is EPLI.
So they provide hours for free, complimentary hours.
Yeah.
They can call them versus their personal attorney.
Yeah, even beforehand, right? You can call into the carrier, hey, this happened, I'm a little uncomfortable with this, and they'll get guidance. But that's a great point about the personal attorney. The key with EPLI, and really what you're getting is that coverage from the carrier, and you're getting access to their legal resources. Your first call should be to either your agent or the carrier, and you want to use the carrier's law firm. You can be comfortable with your local attorney who maybe help you set up the business. They're probably not an expert in EPLI. And oftentimes you can get into trouble if you go to that attorney first versus the carriers. And then you quickly, oh no, this is going to be bigger. Or the attorney's like, uh-oh, this is really developing something. You better call your coverage in. Carriers don't like that. They want to be in it right from the beginning. Also,
Get the temperature of the situation.
Yeah, and they have access to the biggest and best law firms in this space. They get it at a discounted rate that you and I would not be able to do. And you're paid for that resource. I really want owners to look at it more from, I'm not just paying for that claim limit, I'm paying for that expertise. If I get a claim, even if I think it's fraudulent in this area, I want the best on it to defend myself, defend my business, protect my assets.